Hi, this is Beastly Eel with Eel Talk number 9, and we're going to be talking about the series finale of WandaVision, episode 9 of it. And as always, big spoilers ahead. Um, if you have not seen it, please pause the video, watch it, and then you'll hear what I have to say about it. As always, I'm going to talk about the episode as a whole, and then talk about what I think this leads for the future. So the episode starts exactly where the last episode ended, which has Agatha with like these purple strings around the kid's neck. So Wanda's not happy with it. Agatha's pretty much egging her on purpose because Wanda's like, well, I can use my magic here, and Agatha's like, I'm hoping you do. Because if you remember from the last episode, we saw that she can absorb people's energy or magic. We're not quite sure if it's their spirit or if it's just their magical essence that she takes, but she can absorb it. So Wanda shoots a hex bolt at her, um, knocks the kids away. She tells them to go inside, and Wanda's hand um, changes color because what happens is Agatha absorbed that energy, and her hand kind of looked purpley, I'd say. That's the best way to describe it because it was very hard to tell at that point in the scene. So anyway, she tells the kids to go inside, and the two of them start to fight. Magic, 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 just blasting at each other. Then White Vision comes in, and then her husband comes in. So there are two different visions fighting each other. Agatha makes a joke saying, "Oh, it's your husband and your fake husband fighting it out, or your old husband versus your boyfriend." Anyway, and I just found that hilarious a little bit. So the four of them are fighting all over the place. Um, we really see this battle escalate. The two visions are very evenly matched, which shouldn't be that big of a shock because they're pretty much exact copies of each other. Agatha and Wanda are, I would say, pretty close to being evenly matched. I mean, Wanda might be holding back at this point, but still, even then, Agatha's really. I think they both are holding back. Agatha wants her to use her magic so she can absorb it. Um, Wanda doesn't want to really have her absorb it. So while the two visions are fighting, Wanda and Agatha get to a certain point, and there's the crowd of people around, and Agatha starts releasing the spell that Wanda made, and all of the residents start to remember, and they're begging for Wanda to, have a bigger part. Specifically, Dottie states how she misses her daughter and how she'd like to let her out of the closet so she can finally hold her daughter again. And Wanda's apologizing, "You're all going to be all right. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix this." And they all keep crowding together. And she starts to get a little freaked out and she yells, "Stop." And that's when, like, her scarlet energy wraps around all their throats and they start to collapse. She releases that, and Agatha's like, "You're going to have to make a decision." And she does. What she does is she attempts to open up her hexagon. And while this is happening, she tells all the residents to leave, get out of here. Now, she's doing this on the outside. We have Sword. They have captured her FBI agent, Jimmy Woo. So sad. So anyway, um, they're talking about what they're going to be doing. Um, he's kind of like, Jimmy Woo's like, "You guys aren't going to get away with this." And the head of Sword's like, "No, yeah, we will. Wanda's gonna be taken care of. Everyone's gonna think it was her that did it, and that when we have Vision, she recreated Vision. So, and since there's no more televised moments anymore, nobody's gonna know what's happening. So Jimmy Woo lies and says that his FBI friends will be here within the hour. And Sword, the head of Sword, was not happy with that comment, and they tie him up in and throw him on a hay bale, which throws me off. But anyway, they see the crack in the hexagon, and he orders all his men to go inside, and they start going in. So Jimmy gets believe it was a paperclip, I believe. Anyway, he breaks out of his handcuffs and he calls his FBI friends. It's like, "Can you get here within the hour, so I'm not a liar." And they get inside, and he stays out. So we go back inside the hexagon, and what we see here is the military coming in, or the sword. I mean, military. I don't know. All same. So anyway, the whole family's together. The kids figure out what's going on, so they come running out too. Wanda notices that the hexagon is the only thing keeping her kids and her husband alive because they're starting to literally fade away. So she turns the spell back on and locks the hexagon. So now her kids and her vision um, kind of solidify again. So now it's Agatha, the White Vision, and Sword agents. So Sword goes to attack. Agatha lifts them up, drops them down. Wanda stops them, puts them down safely, and Wanda and Vision basically tell the kids, you know, we know we never trained you for this, but you were born for this. And she orders them to take out the military, and she was taking out Agatha, and Vision was going to take out the other Vision, and they split apart. So while this is going on, we have Monica in a house. We're not quite exactly sure what house, but she can see what's going on. And our little friend Quicksilver's there, and she's tried to escape. He's zoomed and stopped her, and blah blah blah, all the fun stuff. So anyway, she's going through his stuff, and she finds out that he's just a resident. He's not from anywhere else. He's not the dead brother. He's not any of that. And how he's been somehow magically made the way he is. So she uses her blue eyes, pins him down, and she notices that his necklace glows purple, which is significant because it's the same color as Agatha's energy. So she rips that off, and he realizes where he is and everything else. Like, oh, please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me. And so Monica's like, I'm just gonna leave you here. Um, and she goes. Now she runs outside. Now her two kids, Wanda's two kids. Not that I had to be that specific. Um, Whiskin, Weskin, Weskin, Billy. I'm just gonna go with Billy. He stopped all of the guys from shooting, and his brother zoomed and took all their guns and their heads. I don't know why. He must have just wanted to. Well, anyway, while that's going on, the head of Sword comes out and begins to open fire on the kids. That's when Monica comes in, runs in front of the bullets, and this is where it gets a little strange. The bullets go through her, but not hurting her. They kind of like go through her energy source, I guess you'd say, and it stops the velocity of the bullets and everything, and they fall down behind her. Well, there was one that went by her, and Billy stops the bullet and drops it. So the head of Sword was not happy with this, and he gets in his vehicle to go get away. Well, our friend Darcy, with her truck, smashes right into his Jeep, so he can't escape. And she yells, saying, and he's pinned, so he can't get out. And she goes, I hope you like prison. And that ends that little fight scene. The two visions are talking. A little odd, but they're talking about the new vision or the white vision's mission, which is to take out Vision. And Vision's like, well, technically, I'm not the real Vision, and you're more the real Vision than I am. And he's like, well, no, no. And they were talking about a specific ship and how that they used to, the ship that they talk about, I can't remember off the top of my head, but as the boards started to rot, they would replace them with new ones. And would it be the same ship? Would it still be the same ship if it's not the same boards? And then Vision asked, would it be the same ship if they just scraped the rot away and kept the boards there? And that's kind of the moment where we notice that that Vision's realizing that the white Vision's realizing that things aren't exactly what he thought. And Vision's trying to explain to him, like, hey, you have memories of everything. And he's like, no, I don't. He's like, but they're stored somewhere. The data has to be there. He goes, can I release them? And he allows it to happen. And what he does is he touches it, and it glows yellow for a little bit, and it goes back to the blue. And the white Vision's eyes turn more like regular Vision's eyes. And that's how that ends. It kind of throws everything off because you don't know what happens between them. So now, Wanda and Agatha are fighting again. Wanda gets inside Agatha's mind. It does not work in her favor. They escape. Well, she escapes, I should say. And they begin to fight. She stops everyone in her family from helping her fight. And what she's doing is she's shooting all these blasts, and Agatha's starting to absorb her and everything else. And she's not hitting every shot; she's hitting the walls of the hexagon. And then Agatha starts to absorb all of Wanda's energy. Now, when this happens, we see symbols on the walls of the hexagon, very similar to the ones that were in Agatha's basement. Wanda purposely missed and created spells, protection spells, so Agatha couldn't use her magic. Now, at this point, Wanda looks like a skeleton, sunken in, and everything else. Wanda absorbs all her energy back, and possibly a lot of Agatha's energy, but I think she just took just hers. And now she has this new outfit on, and they both go to the ground. And Agatha's defeated, and Agatha's like, you need me, you need to keep me protected. You'll need me to learn how to control your powers. And Wanda's like, no. And she goes, even if I do, I know where to find you. And she forces her back into her Agnes form as the nosy neighbor. She's like, you're going to be staying here for a long time. The family gets reunited, and Wanda realizes she has to fix everything. She has to stop the spell. So she brings the family back home. She doesn't tell the kids what's happening, but Vision knows what's happening because now the hexagon is slowly sinking in to where it all began. They're inside the house and they're saying goodnight to the kids. And then Vision says goodbye to his wife. And he asked what he was because he knows he's not the real Vision. And she said that he's everything. He's her grief, her sadness, her happiness, and her love. And he's gone. So she's back to being a regular person. She puts her hood up and walks down the street. The spell is over, the spell is broken. She walks out. Um, she sees Monica, and all the Westview residents are terrified of Wanda still. Wanda just keeps walking. Wanda asks Monica, does she hate her? And Monica's like, no, because if I'd given the chance in your power, I probably would have done the same thing for my mother. So the cops start to come, specifically the FBI, I imagine. And Wanda turns her suit back on and flies away. And Monica just watches it happen. And that's the end of the episode. Yeah, 100% end of the episode. So there were two after credit scenes. The first one, Monica is being called in to the theater. And this woman brings her in, and it turns out to be a scroll. And she's like, an old, a man of your best, of a friend you used to know, which is, I'm not quite sure if she meant, I thought she meant the scroll, like the head scroll that we all know. God wants to talk with you. She's like, where? She's like, up there. And that's how that scene ends. Then there's the other after credit scene. And it's where Monica's just in the middle of nowhere. Wanda's in the middle of nowhere. And she is living a normal life, secluded from everyone and by herself. What we find out is she's learning the magic from the book that was in the basement. And she's learning magic very quickly, kind of like Doctor Strange quickly. And what we hear at the end of the after credit scene is her children yelling, Mom, Mom. And that's how it ends. All right, so some things we have to discuss. That was the end of the series. They're now making another one. Um, Dottie was not Clea like I thought she was. She was just a resident. I was that didn't bother me as much as Quicksilver was just the neighbor next door, and he had a magical necklace that made him go fast. Um, I like that they didn't kill Agatha so she could be brought back for possibly the movie. That's always good. Monica's probably going to get her own spin-off show, um, which would be cool. I'm okay with that because we really don't know her powers all that well. Um, what was the other thing? Oh, um, Wanda's now embraced her power completely. She's now using magic. What was the other thing? Oh, yeah. So we don't things we don't know. Vision, what happened to him? The White Vision. We don't know what happened. He just kind of disappeared. Um, we also don't know what happened to. We don't know officially how Pedro got the fake Pedro got his power. We're assuming it's the necklace, but realistically, we don't know. Also, what I'm thinking happened is when Wanda created that, she created a whole nother universe, a whole nother reality, and which is why we hear her kids at the end of the series, because she can now hear through dimensions and parallel realities. So I think they still exist, and I think Agatha's there too, because we don't see her at the end. I wonder if she's tied to all that, stuck in there. It's all speculation. We don't know for a fact. I mean, we'll have to wait to watch the movies to find out. But definitely decent ending in the sense of I would say most of the unanswered questions were answered. There were a couple that I think they left empty. I'm hoping they did it on purpose, so we learn later. But overall, phenomenal series. I was definitely proud of it. Happy, did not hate it at all. Definitely excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is coming out March 16th, I believe. That'll be another one I'll be doing my EO talks on. But overall, that's it. So, once again, this is Beast Eel signing out. Thank you very much for watching.